Hello, my name is Julie Greenhalgh, and I have written several books under the title The Empathisers. My second book is called Aqua. Now, the Empathisers are friendly and cuddly creatures who understand how you are feeling and can help you with any problems you may have. Only certain children can see Empathisers, but the creatures are totally invisible to adults. Right. Finley was on his way to his swimming lesson again. It was his worst day of the week, as usual. He wasn't looking forward to it. He seemed to have got left behind his friends due to his low confidence in the pool. So he was with a group of younger children that he didn't really have much in common with. Also, they all came along with their mums accompanying them, whereas he came straight from school on his own because his parents both worked full-time and he was nearly 11, so he was allowed to come on his own. Finley tried to think of more and more inventive ways to skip his lesson, like a rash or a sore ankle. But he was running out of ideas when, hallelujah, he discovered last term that he had a verruca. This excused him for the rest of the term, until, unfortunately, Dad discovered bazooka that verruca, some treatment which unfortunately made it better eventually. Now he was starting back in September with a new class and a new teacher. He wasn't overly hopeful. He had disliked his last teacher with a vengeance because he had called him finless and claimed that he would never be able to swim because he didn't put in enough effort. He was called Mr. Walker, and he was very fond of announcing Finley's arrival by saying, "Here he is, the finless wonder. Will he ever learn to swim?" whilst chortling away at his own supposed wit. Fortunately, the swimming pool wasn't too far away from Finley's school, so it only took him 10 minutes to get there. He arrived and peeped into the changing room, discovering he was a little bit early for the class. He plonked himself down and sighed, not looking forward to the impending lesson. At the end of the bench where he was sitting was a pile of soggy towels and what looked like a cuddly toy on top of them. There it is, look. "Oh, I'll have to take you over to lost property," said Finley, picking up the toy. "Put me down!" Finley nearly dropped the toy and looked round to see who was speaking. He shook the toy and said, "I wonder if you've got batteries in." "I most certainly do not," said the creature. "Please put me down immediately." Finley did what he was told and stared at the creature. He looked like a cross between a monkey and a cat, but he had turquoise fur and two tufty ears, one of which was at an angle as he gazed quizzically at Finley. "I'm an empathiser, and my name is Aqua. Your granddad sent me to help you," the creature explained. "But my granddad died last year," Finley replied. "Yes, I know. I saw him on my cloud, just outside heaven," pronounced Aqua. "He says you need help with your swimming." "Yes, it was Grandad that used to bring me to swimming lessons when I was younger. But I never liked going to lessons," said Finley. "Why not?" asked Aqua. "Well, first of all, because of this," said Finley, pointing to a birthmark on his arm. "And then because of my teacher, who used to call me Finless." You should have called him Mr. Teachless, because he's no good at teaching," chuckled Aqua. "I wish I'd thought of that, but I don't think he works here any more," said Finley. "Probably just as well," Aqua continued dryly. "But I think you'll like your new teacher." By the way, there's going to be a load of kids with their mums arriving in a few minutes. You'd better get out of here, warned Finley. Don't worry, they won't see me, said Aqua. Is it okay if I sit on your shoulder? You'll make me sink, said Finley. No, I won't. I'll help you to float, Aqua explained, jumping quickly onto Finley's shoulder as several children and their parents started appearing in the changing room. There he is, sitting on Finley's shoulder, wrapping his tail round his neck. Finley had already got changed while he had been talking to Aqua, so he moved on out to the swimming pool. A kind-looking lady approached him and said, Hi, I'm Jill. Do you want to get in? What do you like doing most in the pool? I just like floating or treading water, said Finley. Do you want to have a little go before the others get here? She asked gently, smiling at him. Finley went down the steps slowly and launched himself off, drifting slowly into the centre. Can you tip your head back a little bit and then start kicking slowly? Said Jill. Aqua was still perched on Finley's shoulder, the turquoise fur swirling around him. But Aqua didn't feel heavy at all, and Finley believed Aqua when the little furry creature said that they would help him to float. So he went a little way and then put his feet down. Well done, said Jill. That was really good. You can swim on your back for the whole lesson if you like. Finley was amazed and thrilled to bits with what he had achieved. You're my lucky friend, he whispered to Aqua. Aqua was very careful to warn Finley when he was coming to the end of each length, so that he didn't bump his head on the side. But his progress was very slow because he was still a bit unsure of himself. Aqua was happy to accompany Finley back to his house after a quick rub dry with a towel. The empathizer perched on his shoulder the whole way there, wrapping the fluffy and silky soft tail around Finley's neck, which felt comforting and soft. Aqua's turquoise fur contrasted with Finley's blonde hair, but of course no one else could see his new friend. Would you like a snack and something to drink? Asked Finley when they reached his house. Oh, yes, please, Aqua responded. I'd love some cat biscuits and a glass of water. Fortunately, Finley's family had a cat called Gizmo, so he grabbed a handful of his biscuits and put them on a saucer for Aqua and poured him a glass of water. Finley looked after his friend first, then collected a chocolate biscuit and a glass of apple juice for himself, and they both scampered upstairs to his bedroom. There they are in his bedroom with their snacks. How come no one else can see you? Asked Finley. It's better that way, Aqua explained. If adults found out about us, they would think we were wild animals. They would put us in cages and do tests on us. What about other children? Finley probed further. We only let certain children see us, if they need to or if we want them to, explained Aqua. We don't want them to tell their parents about the empathisers. What are the empathisers? Inquired Finley. We are special friends that live in the clouds most of the time. When a human angel tells us about a child that needs help with something, we go down to earth for a little while to help them out, said Aqua. You are the first human child that I have helped, so I'm a bit nervous, he added. Would you like to sleep in my top bunk? Asked Finley. That would be great, exclaimed Aqua, climbing up to inspect it and to see how comfortable it was. So my parents won't be able to see you, and it's better if I whisper when I'm talking to you? Queried Finley. Exactly, pronounced Aqua. So, did you say my granddad came to see you on your cloud? Asked Finley. He certainly did. What What a lovely man he is. He's got lots of friends up there and they all play cards together. He told me to tell you he's doing fine and not to worry about him, smiled Aqua. I miss my granddad, Finley admitted. We used to play cards together a lot. Maybe you could see if any of your friends at school would like to play cards with you, suggested Aqua. The following day, Finley asked his friend Chen if he wanted to come round to his house and play cards after school. Chen was a shy boy who had to wear an eye patch because he suffered from a medical condition called amblyopia. There he is, next to Finley, with his eye patch. Zoom a bit closer. There. When they got back to Finley's house, he whispered to Aqua, "Can you let Chen see you?" "Of course," said Aqua, twizzling their tail and appearing in a sprinkling of stardust. "Wow," said Chen, and Finley explained all about Aqua and how he came to be there. The boys got on extremely well and they played cards with Aqua until it was time for Chen to go back home for his tea. About half an hour before Chen had to go home, he asked Aqua, "What do empathizers actually do to help people?" "We understand how children feel and we help them for a while if they're finding things a bit difficult. We also encourage them to think about how other children feel." "So do you know how I feel about my eye patch?" asked Chen. "Yes, I can see that you don't like it, but lots of people have things they don't like about themselves. We also have things we do like about ourselves," explained Aqua. "I have a crooked ear that I don't like." The boys looked carefully at Aqua and realised that their left ear looked a bit wonky, which gave them a questioning look. "But I love being turquoise in colour and I love swimming," announced Aqua. "However, I don't like my name," he added. "I wish it started with the letter Q. That's my favourite letter. And I really like words which begin with Q too." "And I don't like the birthmark on my arm," said Finley. "That's why I didn't like swimming to start with. But then I had a horrible teacher, which made it worse." "But what things do you like about yourselves?" prompted Aqua. "I like being quite tall for my age, and I'm quite good at maths," said Chen. "And my teacher says I'm good at spelling and good with words," Finley added. Over the next few days, Finley got used to having Aqua on his shoulder all the time, feeding his new friend cat biscuits and providing drinks of water whenever needed. The only problem was that Finley's mum complained that Gizmo was eating far more food these days and she had to buy an extra couple of boxes from the supermarket. Gizmo seemed to like Aqua. She curled up next to the furry creature most nights on the top bunk and didn't seem to mind sharing her food. Look, there's Gizmo and there's Aqua. Soon enough it was Monday morning again, the dreaded swimming lesson day. Before school, Aqua asked Finley, "What don't you like about swimming forwards?" "I'm worried about the water splashing in my face," Finley explained. "Have you ever thought about wearing goggles?" Aqua suggested. "No, but I've got some pocket money, so I could buy a pair from the front desk at the swimming pool before my lesson. If you think it would help me," Finley replied. "Yes, I think goggles will help you a lot," smiled Aqua. Finley found he was really looking forward to his lesson, with Aqua by his side and his new goggles tucked into his bag. When he arrived, he had a lovely surprise. Chen was joining his class, and he wasn't wearing his eye patch. Hello, how come you're here? And how come you aren't wearing your eye patch? Inquired Finley. The doctor says I only need to wear my eye patch in the mornings now. My eye patch covers up my strongest eye, so my weak eye learns how to work just as well as my strong eye. My eyesight is starting to improve, so I only need to wear the patch for 3 or 4 hours in the morning from now on, explained Chen. And I told my mum about you going for swimming lessons, and she said I could start again, as long as the lesson was during the afternoon. I haven't been for a few years because of my eye patch, but now that won't be a problem. That's great. My new teacher is really lovely, said Finley. The boys got changed and scampered into the pool. Jill was waiting for them and welcomed her new pupil, Chen. Finley put his goggles on and then tried to swim forwards, with Aqua encouraging him all the way. He felt an amazing sense of achievement when he reached the other side, and Jill said, "Well done, Finley. You're coming along in leaps and bounds." There's Finley, and there's Chen, and there's Aqua. Next, it was Chen's turn. He set off, but then he seemed to sink under the water. Aqua and Finley were terrified, and they both set off at speed to try and rescue him. Just before they reached him, he resurfaced, blowing bubbles and smiling. "I didn't know you could swim underwater, Chen," exclaimed Jill. "My mum and dad taught me to swim on holiday a few years ago," explained Chen. "I used to enjoy diving for coins on the bottom of the pool." "And wow, Finley, you can really swim fast when you want to," said Jill. "You weren't on my shoulder," Finley whispered to Aqua. "I was swimming right beside you because you don't need me now," Aqua smiled. "You didn't need me anyway. I just let you think I was helping you to keep you afloat, to give you more confidence. I think you two need to move up to another class now. I've got another lesson on Tuesdays, so you can move up to that class next week," Jill announced. "Great," said Finley. Later on, they went back to Finley's house, and Finley ruffled Aqua's fur, saying, "You're a quirky little fellow, aren't you?" "What does quirky mean?" inquired Aqua. "It means you're unusual and charming," explained Finley. "Also, you could spell your name with a Q in it, like aquarium. So then you would be Aqua with a Q." Aqua started doing cartwheels and ended up doing a happy dance. Finley and Chen looked at each other and smiled. There he is doing his happy dance. "So I can be Aqua with a Q, and I can have Quirky as my nickname. Hooray!" Aqua explained, doing another happy dance. "You're really good with spellings and words, aren't you?" Aqua said to Finley. "I think your wonky ear makes you look really sweet," said Chen to Aqua, as their little friend was now called, with a Q. "I think it makes you look like you are really interested in other people, and you're thinking of asking them a question." Aqua's chin dropped down a little, and the creature suddenly looked sad. "What's the matter?" Finley asked, stroking Aqua's fur. "You're just so lovely, and you make me feel so happy. I'm supposed to be helping you, but you've really helped me," sobbed Aqua. "But you have helped me with my swimming," Finley smiled. "You've done a brilliant job. I'm really enjoying it now." Aqua looked a bit brighter, but then put their head on one side and asked, "I think I need some help with your last problem. Would you like to meet my parents?" "Of course," Finley agreed. Aqua twizzled their tail, and suddenly a second empathizer appeared in a sprinkling of stars. This empathiser, Ginger, had ginger fur and was a bit taller than Aqua. Ginger politely asked Chen if they could sit on his shoulder. Chen smiled a huge smile and put out his hand so that Ginger could climb up. Ginger scrambled up and wrapped their fluffy ginger tail around Chen's neck. Ginger, could you help me with something, please? Aqua requested. I don't know how to help Finley with his birthmark, which he doesn't like. Of course, said Ginger, picking up a felt tip and saying, May I? To Finley. Finley nodded. Ginger drew a little smiley face at one end of Finley's birthmark and then drew spikes all over the body. Hey presto, a hedgehog, Ginger announced. Wow, that's really cool, Chen explained. Can I have one too? There, you can see it a bit closer. Little hedgehog. Ginger went into action again with the felt tip pen, and Chen realised that Ginger had drawn a badger on him. He displayed it proudly to Finley and stroked Ginger's fur. I never noticed your birthmark until you told me about it, Chen admitted. That's what I was going to explain about birthmarks, explained Ginger. Most people don't notice them, and when you are older, you won't even remember you've got one. But in the meantime, you can disguise it, like we have today, or just wear long sleeves to cover it up. Yes, but we all look different, and it doesn't matter at all, Ginger continued. Think how boring life would be if we all looked exactly the same and could all do everything just as well as each other. I'm no good at swimming. I just hate my fur getting all wet and getting all messed up. But Aqua, or should we say Aqua with a Q, is brilliant at swimming. They've always been my water baby. I grew up in Ginger's pouch when I was a baby, and when I was big enough, I crawled out and fell into the bath, said Aqua. I worked out how to swim straight away and never looked back. Well, said Ginger, we're going to have to go back up to our cloud now. We've got lots of other children that need our help. And you two have turned out to be great empathisers too. I've been keeping half an eye out on how Aqua has been doing with their first human. And I'm so happy that you have helped Aqua too. And if you ever need us again, just twizzle round on the spot and tap your head. And then one of us will appear in front of you, Aqua added. But when you turn 18, that won't work anymore. And in a sprinkling of stardust and twizzling tails, they disappeared. Finley and Chen were both sad, but they started planning a joint birthday party in which all the guests were given a temporary tattoo of a different animal, which all the children enjoyed. The following year, they had a pirate's party. Even though Chen hadn't needed his eye patch for a long time, it reminded him of how he used to feel, so he was even more understanding of any other children who had similar problems. And that's it. Thank you for listening.